Hey, everybody.
Hello, welcome to Wealth Wednesday.
I cannot believe it's Wednesday again. And you know what?
Okay, you have like pretzel breath.
Listen, she does this at noon. We do this at noon. I'm freaking starving. I'm on this very really anal retentive diet because when I hit 45, my metabolism decided to stop.
It just stops.
On a dime.
It just stops.
And so this is my eat time.
That's
and I'm
right.
so happy to be here. But
Yes.
they smell like pretzels because that's what I was jamming down my mouth because that's
all
all
right,
you had
honey.
in your office.
That's true. All right. Okay.
Sheesh.
All right. Sheesh.
12 Wednesday.
All right. We're so glad you're here.
Guess what? It's raining again here.
What's up with that?
I don't know. Color of spring turned I feel like I'm
Fell
in
asleep
Seattle.
and woke up in Seattle
It's
or Portland or
redonkulous.
something. It
But
really
whatever.
is.
I'm
Okay.
not complaining because my grass looks phenom.
Phenom.
And I fertilized yesterday.
Ooh.
So that rain is just soaking in.
Nice.
And it's just going to be an
Nice.
amazing spring.
All right, so Wealth Wednesday, where we want you to have wealth with your relationships and wealth with your money. And we are so excited for you here. We love thumbs up. Woo! We love those to fly across the screen. It's pretty fun.
Okay.
Little hearts.
It's good to know.
Scott's like, you're a little creepy today. Okay, I'm in a weird mood. Okay, anyway, but we are so glad to be with you today. We are going to talk about something that is so near and dear to our heart, especially since it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October. Can you believe it's already
I can't believe it's
October?
October.
It's crazy.
But this is a huge month for our family.
Yes, it is. It's really big.
Because a lot of people don't know this, but my Bethany is actually a stage 3 breast cancer survivor. She was HER2 positive and went through 9 months of chemo, had a double mastectomy, had a total of 6 surgeries. This woman, watch those TV commercials, and they say side effects might include, and you think, whoever really gets those side effects?
Yeah, like for those.
She did. Side effects to everything.
Yes.
It got to the point where after the 5th or 6th surgery, we were like, wow.
Yeah.
But never complained, kept her head up the whole time. It was, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy,
Nope.
but I wouldn't turn back the hands of time and not go through that as a family, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, I know, and that's what brings us today, what we're
yeah.
going to talk about, because there were so many unexpected things. And we're going to talk today about 3 unexpected gifts that cancer actually gave us. And we're excited to share them. They're very near and dear to our heart. You think of gifts, spenders, people who are gift givers. But cancer actually did give us 3 things. And, a lot more than that. As a matter of fact, I just got done taping a video about,
check it out. It's awesome.
Yeah, about our whole cancer journey. And it's pretty raw. But you're going to see that on Twitter, Facebook, links to it on Pinterest, things like that. So be sure to sign up because our social person is going to get that right out to you. We really want to share this story and hopefully encourage you. That's really what is important. As a matter of fact, there's been recently some stars that are in the news. The gal that used to be on Seinfeld, I cannot remember her name. If anyone can remember her name, let us know because I can't remember
She's
whatever it
hilarious.
is.
She's doing Veep right now on HBO.
Right, and she's just diagnosed, so it's just very real and raw right in front of us all the time. So we just wanted to share what our 3 unexpected gifts were. So, honey, do you want to actually?
Yeah.
I actually have some pictures too. I'm going to share with you.
Yeah.
As we go through the journey, but you want to go through the first one?
So I want to start with number 1 because, Bethany and I kind of probably in almost an unhealthy way, really were very into the fact that we weren't drama people. And I really gave drama people kind of they just, those people that you just feel like they're always going through something and there's never any, and I used to kind of be judgmental of those people and I'm not anymore. One of the things with Facebook and one of the things with, Snapchat, Instagram, and Pinterest and all this stuff is we do such a great job of making our lives look perfect. And so we kind of have these 2, we have our church face and then our real face. We kind of have our Facebook face and then we kind of have our real lives. And so for me, the first thing that I learned was how to accept people's generosity. Because I was the giver, I was never the receiver. I'm a spender. So if people
and we'd always be like, oh no, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. This was before cancer.
Right.
It was
and we were used to giving to people, not receiving. And so when Beth got diagnosed with cancer, after about the first 3 weeks, I found myself with two little boys. Cole was in first grade. Yeah,
Should I show them a picture
Yeah.
of the boys, how little they were?
They were so little.
Let's see. Where's a good one? Oh, here's a good one. Okay. Here you go. Okay, so they were so little.
Yeah, so Cole was in first grade and Cade was in preschool.
Yep.
This was 7 years
5.
ago. Uh-huh.
So little.
And so it was interesting because, no, he was in first grade, so he would have been 7. Right? Because he's 16 now, and it was 8 years.
Well, when I first was diagnosed.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I guess it was a 2-year process.
Yes.
But anyways, bottom line was I needed help. Now, my sister-in-law named Terry Lynn Palmer, my identical twin brother's wife,
love you, Terry Lynn.
We love her, and she is one of our heroes in life. She's a nurse. She's just a stud. She has 3 boys. She's amazing. And so she coordinated, believe it or not, 89.
No,
Was
188.
188? Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess I was off. 188 meals that came to our house during that time period. And so 4 days a week. 4 months. I mean, literally for a year and a half almost.
Yeah.
So these meals would show up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then literally Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we either tried to get out or we just ate leftovers. And it was phenomenal because we were both trying to run our business at the same time. We had 2 little boys that were 100% dependent on us. And Beth had days where she was I called it kind of kind of just chemoed out. She was just so full of chemo and so full of drugs, she couldn't do anything. But people were amazing. I had my lawn mowed. I had people drop us off food. I had gift certificates. It was just, the outpouring from other people was, the only word I can use is humbling. My church, New Life Church, best church in the world here in Colorado Springs, people would just, the care people at our church would just like swing by with a big thing of Legos and put together Legos with my kids just so I could have 10 minutes to take care of Bethany or go for a run or just anything. And so for me, really accepting people's generosity was really tough, but I was so desperate for it. I had to learn how to really get good at it. And that's one thing that I share with my friends now. I tell them 2 things, especially if their wives are going through cancer, or if anybody in their family is going through cancer. Be okay accepting people's generosity. Because what I found that was such a shock to me was that they were so blessed by blessing me, and they were so blessed just to see how genuinely thankful that we were. So number 1, unexpected gifts. I've learned to receive generosity. I will even tell people, thank you so much. I appreciate the generosity that you've just shown me.
Yeah,
because
crazy.
I want people to know, hey, this is for real.
Now, one thing that people would do is really unique things too. Like Cade's little preschool teacher, he went to a little preschool 2 hours a day.
2 days a week.
2 days a week. And the lady there had gone through breast cancer. So she brought in her sewing machine and after school took Cade and actually he sewed a hat for me. This is the hat.
Oh, you got
I
it.
got the other ones too. This is the hat that he sewed me with her. Is that just the sweetest thing? It was just so sweet. So, some people might be afraid to, go ahead and think of different kinds of things to do for a family. But if something good, it gets on your heart to do for that person, do it. I had a lady just send me a hat. I had a lady send me this special undershirt thing. And people were just so generous. And you know what? Just say thank you. That is what people expect, and that's what they want, is just a nice thank you. They don't want a lot in return. Oftentimes we would feel like if someone would do something for us, then we had to do something for them. No, just accept people's graciousness and
Absolutely.
their kindness. So we can't say that enough. It was just such a sweet thing. When I was actually going through it, I would have like a week of chemo where I was kind of chemo crashed, and then I'd have 2 weeks where I felt a little bit better. And it was so horrible because you knew when the next chemo was going to come. It was kind of like you almost like were expecting
it's
a
like
car crash
when you're getting ready to get punched in the stomach
Right.
from your friend.
Exactly.
You just know it's coming.
Exactly.
You're just like, oh.
So people would ask, when's the best time to help or whatever, and I knew, and I was able to give. So anyway, just accepting generosity was just a gift to us, and ever since, whenever someone says they would like to do something for us, or we're like, great, thank you, we really appreciate it, instead of, oh no, it ends up being a gift for them to give just as much as it is for you to receive.
Yeah.
So,
It's so awesome to transfer from I got it to we got it.
yeah.
And that's the hugest gift, that one of the number one gift we want to talk about. I think probably the hugest for me, one of the most life-altering things was just being able to say thank you and thank you for your generosity.
Absolutely.
All right.
Number two. Point number two. Okay, the next one is, and I told Scott I was going to take this one.
Because it would be weird. Well, go ahead.
It would be kind of odd. But the really thing that I learned was to hug my husband and hug my kids just a little bit harder and a little bit more. And, not that I've taken my family for granted, because I haven't, but you just never know. I mean, I remember the night that I had my diagnosis and we didn't know what was going to happen. And I remember just being in bed and just hugging Cole so hard that night in bed, and Cade hugging him so hard, because I just didn't know if I was going to have that many more times and opportunities to do it. So we don't know. And the truth of the matter is we don't know how many days we're going to live. So really appreciating your spouse and appreciating your kids and hugging them and just telling them that you love them. That's just something that I learned, that I never let a day go by that I don't say I love you to all three of them at some point in the day. And just how important it is. And we just, I don't know, it just makes you appreciate people so much more.
We've turned into a huge I love you family, I think, out of this. And as a matter of fact, it's spread so much. When Cole has his football buddies over on Thursdays, which is one of my favorite things, I tell them that I love them all the time. Even kids that are coming to my house, because I genuinely love all these boys, these young men. And, at first I saw these kids kind of like, that's kind of weird, that dude just told me he loved me. But now they wait for it.
Yeah.
And I think part of what is so cool is when you go through a situation like this where you really don't know. I just saw Brian Slivka joined us. He walked through this journey with us. He is the best realtor in Colorado Springs, and a dear friend of ours, but he walked through this cancer journey with us. And, it's just one of those things that just redoes you. I got less wound up about what my kids were doing. I'm the vacuum line guy. Everything has to be picked up all the time. But I noticed I started asking myself, is that really that big a deal? And am I shaping my men to be better men by getting uptight about a toy left in the corner on accident? So I think one of the things that taught me to just, Beth talks about hugging and kissing and how you just learn to appreciate it more. But it's 8 years later, and that I love you has transformed our family. And it's funny, I tell my brothers I love them. I always tell my mom and dad I love them, and Beth and the boys. But that's one thing I never can say enough to people is, hey, you know what? I appreciate you and I love you. So it's awesome.
So true. One of the things that does, that appreciation, is just brings a lot of laughter into your home. And, when we were going through this, we were bound and determined. We were like, we are going to laugh. We are going to, any opportunity we can. So this is kind of fun. So when I got all my hats, because my head was shaved off, the boys just had a lot of fun with the hats. And here's Cade with all of them on. Here's Cole being just silly with them too. And, just trying to just have fun. I was really, really sick. Very, very sick. Here's one picture just to kind of give you an idea.
Give them that one.
This one.
At least we're smiling in that one.
At least we're smiling in this one. But, I was so sick. But you know what? You can never be sick enough to say, I love you, and to hug the people that you love so much. So we really, really learned that.
Absolutely.
All right. So one thing that we learned, the first one that we learned, was to accept people's generosity. The second thing we learned was to...
My hand looks huge.
It does.
With that camera.
That's kind of creepy.
It is. My hand's not really big. My hand's not really as big as my head.
Why is it so big?
I don't know. Maybe. That's the
so
real
weird.
size. Okay,
That's
that was
really
creepy.
weird.
Okay.
Okay.
Going on to number 3.
Okay, hug. And number 3. I love this one. I absolutely love this one. Do you want to share it? Do you want me to share it?
So the third one is celebrate our victories. And so Beth had come through that first 9 months of chemo. And we weren't out of the woods by any means, but she was done with chemo. So we just took that time to celebrate. And we had...
we called it the...
well, it was... Let me back up.
Fiesta.
It was a cancer-free fiesta. Not easy to say. But at this time, we had developed some really interesting relationships at On the Border restaurant at the time. And On the Border restaurant,
Brian was there with us?
went in every Friday night to On the Border because we could just go there and Bethany could eat a couple of things on their menu. anyways, over 9 months, we went in every Friday night and I became friends with a guy named Patrick Deutsch, who at the time was the CEO of On the Border. Now I believe he's the CEO or the CEO at Steak and Shake.
Steak and Shake.
And so, amazing guy. Patrick, if you're watching this or you're out there, I miss you, buddy. And we put on this Fiesta for the Cure, and it was all catered by our amazing support from On the Border. Like, when does that happen? Well, here's the interesting thing. We had 75 people get online and RSVP. So I ordered food for 80. We had 175 people show up. Our house has never been that packed. It will never be that packed again.
Much.
But it was so awesome because, and the guys On the Border were amazing. They took that van back like 3 times getting food. So we had all these people show up. We gave away gifts. And we just...
little guys.
Yeah, they were all dressed in pink on Fiesta for the Cure On the Border. I don't think they do that anymore.
This is kind of cute.
But we had a total.
Oh, I gotta show them this one, honey.
Oh, okay.
This one.
We had a total
Cole,
I had a total of 250 balloons that were just floating on our ceiling.
Is that like the sweetest?
It was.
And I remember
pink
Cole,
balloons.
Scott, he organized the whole thing. I didn't do one thing, and he was like, "We are celebrating. We are celebrating. We are celebrating. We don't take enough time to celebrate." And that is one thing that Scott and I have learned. Now, are we great at it? No. Because we're kind of real doer kind of people. We kind of do something, have an experience, and kind of move right on. And we are just so determined to make sure that we celebrate the victories that God has given us. And this was just an incredible example. I mean, Fiesta, Cancer-Free Fiesta, he called it. And we just had a blast. So do you have anything that you need to be celebrating?
Go celebrate it.
Yes.
You just don't know when your last day is going to be.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Yep. Do you want to say the 3 one more time?
Yeah, so the 3 are what we learned. The 3 gifts that cancer gave us was, number 1, accept people's generosity. Number 2, Beth said, hug my husband and kids a little harder. I would say, tell everybody that you can, that you love them. And number 3, celebrate your victories, because we're celebrating ours and we're still celebrating ours. Yep. Praise be to God.
That's right.
He took care of everything. Love you guys. Thank you for being part of our community. Go out and make it happen this week.
Make it happen.